Hey Jeff, how you doing? How you doing, Boris? Hope everybody's well and had a very nice couple of days, enjoying the weekend so far. So what I started tonight is I'm starting to do a hand cut stem. Hey Mike, how you doing? So I'm having a go at a hand cut stem. Hey Tim, how you doing? Lots of M's going on. Morning, yeah. So what I'm going to be doing here is what I would like to do. We'll see if it works out. This is a bit of olive wood, and what I'm going to do is what I would like to do is something like that, and then obviously the tenon will come out of there. And hi Indy, how you doing? I don't know if this is going to work. It's an experiment, as I say, and I don't make stems that often, but I'm going to go and try and make one today. Well, I'll make a start this evening, but I'll probably spend more time on it tomorrow, to be honest. You made a rustication tool, Mike. Oh, cool. How many nails did you use? I'm always interested in seeing how other people make their rustication tools. You have to count it, right? I got today these carving tools. I've only seen clips of it on social media, so I bought a pair, a set of 5. I'm going to see what they're like. I've got no idea what they do, to be honest. It looked interesting, let's put it that way. $21. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of nails, Mike. That's a lot of nails for a rustication tool. Mine's probably got about 9 or 10, I'd imagine. Not even. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 9. And even that is too many at times. It's not so much about how many, it's more about the sharpness. And also the shape of this top here. If anything, you want it to be slightly concave, because most pipes that you're going to work on will be concave. You know, the opposite to the curve, you want this to be the opposite. Most pipes are going to be round. Occasionally, yes, you'll have a panel pipe, but generally speaking, the surface is going to be curved. So you really want that to be slightly curved to match that. Hey Josh, how you doing? I think I'll go with a bit of dark flake. Dark twist rather. I haven't smoked that in a while. Finally took delivery of the large bottles of the. It's funny how I get excited about deliveries of material. You know, it's not. It's a bottle of stain, but I get excited about it these days when I get stuff in. It makes me feel comfortable and secure that I've got plenty to keep me going. Let's put it that way. I got some oxblood, which I haven't used before, but it's a stain colour that I've been wanting to use for quite a while. It's quite a traditional colour, which a lot of the traditional pipes use that colour. So I'm looking forward to trying that out. And it took me a while to find these in the UK, because otherwise all I could get were these small bottles, and some of them I've almost finished already. And a couple of other smaller ones which I don't expect to use that much, or they didn't have it in the big size. Orange, which I don't have. I've only got orange in some of the UK based dyes, and they're just not as rich, so that's going to be interesting as well. The orange, and what's this, British tan, I've never used that either, so that's going to be also something interesting. But essentially what I'm trying to do is to get some stains that would allow me to do some brighter stains, but at the same time they should have richness to them. The brighter ones that I've been using till now are things like chestnut stains, and this one in particular is like mahogany, which is a very light colour, but it's, although it says spirit stain, it feels like it's water based. It's so diluted. So when I first started I was using chestnut, and I ended up buying bottles and bottles of the stuff, different colours, and I just don't touch them anymore. The Fiebings is really the way to go. Talk about lasting a long time, check this out. This is a shellac, and that's 5 litres, and I had trouble finding that as well. It took me a long time to find someone that stocked it. They had litre bottles. I just went the whole hog and I bought a 5 litre because I don't know when I'll next get it, and that would probably last me as long as I ever make pipes. Ian Walker uses that stuff, and he says he told me to get a litre bottle, and he said it will last me forever. So that's going to last me forever and a day. Hey Kev, this stuff really feels quite dry. I haven't had a pipe since yesterday afternoon. So this here is a bit of olive wood over a bit of ebonite brindle or Cumberland, red and black. And what I intend to do is to make a stem with this. So I want to have, this will act as like a stem sort of decoration of olive wood, which is going to be curved like that. Then you have the 9mm tenon coming out, which will go into the pipe. I've yet to make the pipe, but I've got a shape in mind, which I hope to make tomorrow. Depending on how long I'm on tonight, maybe I'll do it tonight later on, or unless you guys want, I could start working on it tonight live. So how you guys all been? You been behaving? Anyone? Obviously, as soon as, you know, there's talk of easing restrictions, there's obviously people saying that we're going too fast. And I've kind of, watching the riots, where have you got riots? I'm behind. Obviously, it's been my Sabbath, so I haven't been online at all. I don't know. I'm completely out of date for 2 days because we had a festival. So Friday and Saturday, I was out of touch. Oh my gosh. Oh dear me, that's the human condition. I don't know why it gets that way. But I don't know. I can't comment. I don't know the politics over there, but I assume there's reason for it. Not justification, but reason. Oh no, really? Yeah, the cops killing a black guy I saw. That was already on Tuesday or Wednesday, wasn't it? So this is the results, is it? Well, from the clips that I saw, I mean, as I say, I don't know the whole story, but certainly. It didn't look good, that's for sure. Holding a guy down for that long. Whatever he's done. Hmm. You know, you get to a place where you think that racism is kind of reducing, you hope. You know, we had the whole thing here in the UK about the police being institutionally racist. Hey Carl, how you doing? No, that's what I was saying, Boris. Not justification, but a reason why it's sparked it off. I'm not saying it's right. Yeah, doing good, thank you. Just sparked up some dark twist in my Rhodesian. And I've got a stem which I'm going to be attempting to hand cut. I've already drilled the stem. You can see there. That's drilled through. So the drill here at this end is 1.5 mil, and at that end it's 3.2 mil at this end. Well, it's 9 mil here, but it goes down to 3.2. So I'm going to stick that in the lathe and turn that to get a nice curve on it, and hopefully it will adorn a nice pipe, as long as I don't screw up this end. So I've got to make a good effort on this end. The challenge is always not going too far and make cutting right through to the drill. So I've marked it off over here with a pencil. So it's 3.2 mil till there, and then 1.5 mil from there on. So I've got this area to play with to do the button, and I have a bit of a slotted out bit, which should be plenty. What's my favourite blend, James? Well, ask any pipe smoker that. Unless they're a codger and they smoke one blend, that's going to be a very hard question to answer. My favourite blend changes all the time. At the moment, I wouldn't call it a favourite blend. What I would say is, what is the pipe tobacco that I'm smoking most at the moment? Doesn't necessarily make it my favourite tobacco. And blend of the moment for me is certainly Solani's Blend 131. I haven't smoked it in a couple of days, but still, it's my blend of the moment for sure. I did pick up the Jubilee blend from the Danish Pipe Shop, which is also a whiskey topped tobacco. I haven't tried that simply because I'm smoking the 131, but in a way I should actually try it and see if it's similar, because I do find that the Blend 131, as good as it is, Victory, as good as the 131 is, I do find that it's a little bit, sometimes it's quite a little bit too rich to smoke all day long. And if I could find something which was of a similar ilk but just a little bit less full and make it more of a regular smoke, that would be quite cool. So I really don't know what this one is like from the Danish Pipe Shop. It's called Jubileum. And that Red Caledonian that I tried from Danish Pipe Shop, that was so good, sort of knock your head off kind of. It's an aromatic, but it's so full. I don't know. As I said in my video, I'm happy to share it to people in the UK if they want to try it. But it's got nice flavors, but it's just really full. It's really full on, and not a bit of goop inside. It's not sticky to the touch when you feel the tobacco. I don't know how they get so much flavor into it without all the goop. That in itself is quite a feat. I finally got some of these from Axminster. Now I can connect my bandsaw and my little sort of belt sander to my small Hoover. I actually replaced my Hoover because the other one was junk. So I've got another Mr. Henry, which is really good. And I've got obviously the main extractor, which I use for my wheel sander. But the other bits and bobs, they all attach. They've all got the little exhausts, smaller exhausts, and this is perfect. It fits my Hoover perfectly, and it slips over the top of the ducts on the machines. Good evening, Viking. How are you doing? I'm just thinking if I could actually make a start on this by hand while we're sitting here chatting. St. Bruno, HH Burley Flake. I haven't tried the Burley Flake. I have tried St. Bruno, but I don't remember what it was like. I always get confused between St. Bruno and the other British OTC. Which one, Carl? Have a go at what? The tobacco or the stem? Shandygaff. Oh, what's her name? Used to smoke a lot of Shandygaff. Just bear with me a sec. Hello? Hi, I can't actually speak right now. I'll speak to you in the morning. Alright, alright. Pardon? I'm not in the house. I'm not in the house. Alright, bye. Oh, the stem. It's up to you guys if you want to turn this London Calling into a live session. Yeah, exactly, Carl. I feel like I want to first get this bit done, but I would be doing that on the lathe, and I don't really want to do that whilst you guys are all sitting around waiting. I kind of need to start it off on the lathe, that's the thing. H.H. Burley, I don't know if it's available here. I assume it's here. Anybody know if H.H. Burley is available here in Europe? The pipe with the green stem, I assume you mean the bent apple. No, I haven't sold that. I've actually got a few pipes out here, which I brought out to do a little bit of sort of tweaking. I'm surprised this one hasn't sold, to be honest. This is a big old Rhodesian. Beautiful grain. I think if it doesn't sort of sell soonish, then I'm probably going to stain it, which is a shame, because for some, I mean, I understand why, but grain attracts customers. It's perfectly drilled. Hey, Grobnob. It does have some wonderful grain, I have to say. So it will look good when it's stained, that's for sure. And the top also has some really nice bird's eye, so it should actually, it would colour nicely, but you know, I think that less people buy natural pipes. I think you're kind of touting to a smaller group of people, a smaller customer base, I think. So that's out here for a possible staining. It is bent, but it's not steeply bent. That's the pipe in its normal fashion. So it is bent, but not a great deal. I grant you that. I've got this one out here as well. This is another Rhodesian type, I suppose, kind of a wide pot, which has got that scallop finish on the top there. And this is out here to do something with this ring. I turned that ring and I didn't sort of finish it. I kind of left it natural. I thought that would be okay, but in actual, it really could do with something. It could do with really being quite a bit deeper, to be honest, but I can't put it back on the lathe, so that's a problem. So I'm not really too sure what I'm going to do with this one. I might have to sell this as a seconds, this one. Either that or smoke it myself. I think if I try to revisit it, I'll probably wreck the pipe, and the pipe as it stands is a lovely pipe. So the ring may have to just be left. What I could do actually is rusticate that. I could probably use, actually that's an idea. I could probably rusticate that. Maybe use the golf ball style rustication. Maybe I'll do that. Bit of a risk that I might damage some of the pipe, but that might be worth doing. Maybe we'll do that. Hey Jason, put it back on the lathe. How would you do that without wrecking the bowl? I suppose I could start fashioning bits of wood to hold it and all that kind of thing, but I don't think so. How would you do that, Jason? It'll be a great smoking pipe, that I can tell you. It's drilled perfectly. Dead center. And it's pretty lightweight as well. I might actually keep it then. Hey Jeffrey, how are you? Oh, Jeffrey. Turn a piece of wood the size and shape of the bowl and press it on. Use your tail stuck in the large center and soft lock the hole down. Ball. Press it on. Use your tail stuck with live center. And a soft block to hold on. Okay, I hear you. So essentially you're saying make a sandwich. So one piece there, tailstock there, or something along those lines, and then turn it. Is that what you're saying? Well, tailstock with another piece of wood in between, and another bit there. So you're saying I should, to make a piece of wood that will actually, this will sit into, and this piece goes on the lathe, on the chuck, that goes in, and then a smooth piece there with the tail, the live center pushing it and sort of forcing it. Yeah, it's I guess that could be done, but I'm probably going to just maybe rusticate it and stain it black so it kind of gets sunken in. Oh, the opposite, okay. So you're saying live over here and have, oh, I see what you mean. Something like that with a piece of wood on the end of it, and then that there with a, okay, I'm with you. I got you. So that's obviously one piece of wood with this bit sticking out, and so the tailstock with a piece of wood, but not actually affixed to it, just the force of the tailstock being screwed into that, against that, and that'll all hold it in place. I got you. Yeah, I hear that. That's a lot of work for me. I'm lazy. Having said that, I do revisit a lot of my pipes to really make them how I want them to be. So maybe I'm not that lazy. But I think it's a lot of effort for that, although it is a nice pipe. Really worked out well. But I think I'm just going to do that bit of golf ball rustication in there. And it might end up actually looking quite pretty. How's the metal lathe, Jason? I was actually chatting with Mike Bryblues about that. I'm actually really strongly considering getting a metal lathe soon. Might have to sell a few more pipes though. And I've also got this pipe out here. This is the Morel one, if you recall. And it's got a little line. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that little line there? Yeah, I appreciate that, Jason. Thank you. There's a little line there which has caught the stain, which I didn't notice before. So I've got to smooth that out and restain it. It's a nice pipe, so it's worth the effort. Has that metal lathe completely changed your abilities in terms of accuracy, making stems and that kind of thing, or adornments? What I am finding, I have to be honest, what I am finding is that my lathe, as good as it is, it lacks finite accuracy. I don't know if that's me or if it's the lathe, but I always find that the drill bits, they wander a little bit. Anything, whatever's on the end of the tailstock wanders. As soon as you bring it in under force, you know, against the turning, whatever's on the other side, it always wanders. Turning the metalwork right. I'm a way off from metalwork, I think. I'm using rings and things like that, but I'm not actually turning anything like that. I'm making a concerted effort now to make some headway in making stems. So I've just glued this up. This is a bit of olive wood onto a bit of brindle ebonite, black and red. And that's going to be like a short sort of Lovat length stem with a wood sort of adornment, and then the tenon coming out of that. And that'll be a first for me, so I'm a little bit apprehensive but excited at the same time. Worst comes to worst, it won't work. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Just try again. The first stage has gone all right, so I've drilled it out for a 9mm tenon, and where is it? You can see the light through there, so the drill has gone okay. Thank you, Jason. I really appreciate that. That's really kind of you. What I tend to do at the moment is I grip the drill bit and do my best to hold it in position. And I turn the speed up high, so that it starts to cut as soon as the drill bit starts to touch, whether it's the stem or the briar block. If it starts to cut straight away and catches, then it kind of stays true. It's only when you're doing it at slow speeds, which once it starts to drill, I do slow it down again. Once it's caught and it's got the sort of the journey, if you like, of travel started, then I turn it back down again. But it's kind of just making those little adjustments to how you do stuff just to make it work. When there may well be a technical solution, which Jason is talking about. I was going to work on a Prince the other day. After hearing Mike's feedback on the Prince that I sent him, I thought I'd try and make another one, taking all of what he said into consideration. I drew this one up, but I haven't as yet. I couldn't find a decent block to do it with. I really could do with a greater selection of briar. I've put the live center back in the mortise and slightly shave the shake back to round around the mortise. Shave the shank back to round around the mortise. Oh, I got you. I got you. So your mortise ends up being center again. I'm with you now. I understand what you're saying. So you use the live center to get your true center again, and then turn it so that it straightens itself out and gives you a proper round shank. I'm with you. I mean, that tends to happen anyway, because usually the order of things that I do things, I'll turn the shank after I've done the mortise. So that usually happens. It straightens itself out anyway. But it's a good idea what you're saying, to make sure that you're starting center. Yeah, I'll bear that in mind. That's a good tip. Thank you. If I've had a reason to move something, then I'll use the live center. But I didn't think of doing that each time as I'm going to turn the shank. That's a good idea. Thank you. The prints that I made for Mike, it looks very good, and it's got a really classic Prince look to it, but there are failings with it, and everything that he pointed out, I'd already pointed out to him myself, pretty much. The biggest issue that I had with that pipe was that it wasn't 9mm, and I'm not geared up for non-9mm pipes. It's not something that I've got a lot of experience with. I've certainly not got a lot of experience making my own tenons. I've done one or two, but using the tenon cutting tool, which to me was useless, really inaccurate, and that thing wobbles around, and there's no, you can't use it as a template because it's just too inaccurate, and from one sweep to the next you don't know what you're going to get with it, in my experience. Maybe in a metal lathe it would work better, I don't know. Anyway, so if I was to do non-9mm, I would use tenons and glue them in. It's really finding the right setup, the right drill bits and tenons and sizes that will match up for me. Once I do that, I have no problem doing non-9mm pipes. I just haven't gotten around to that. No, that Prince couldn't be 9mm. That couldn't be. You're quite right. It was too slim for that. I never intended it for it to be. But I did the best that I could. I mean, I wasn't happy with the final result. The wood was fine. The pipe itself was fine. It was the stem that was the issue. And the stem shaping was also turned out really nice. The button was very nice. It needed to be opened up more for his tastes. Fair enough, it did whistle. I give him that. Externally, it was absolutely fine, and the pipe itself was fine as well internally. It was the stem that was the issue. It always was the issue, and I told Mike that before he even got it. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, no, you're probably right. If you're going to do it in a very, the original intention of it was to be quite a regal, slim, sleek looking pipe. It was made for one of the English kings. I don't remember which one. Hence, that's why it's got the name Prince. As that's the story anyway, that it was made to be something which looked fitting for royalty. And this one here, the one that I drew up, was actually going to be 9mm, so it would have ended up having a slightly broader. I would have made sort of the thinnest I generally go if I'm making a 9mm is 16mm shank. So that allows, you know, for about 3.5mm either side of a 9mm tenon, which is it's okay. It's not too bad. And if the shank is done okay, then you've got a perfectly thick enough shank, and it still is quite slim looking. That makes sense, Jason. If you want it to look to scale it up. Yeah, I hear that. You probably end up with quite a big bowl then. I was going to cut the slot, but I think I'm going to do this first. I'm going to shape this first and see how it all works out so that I know which orientation it's going to go. I mean, the lathe side of things, the turning parts of things shouldn't make any difference because it's circular, but I think it still makes sense for me to just do it that way first. In actual fact, I can't really take much off this at all, looking at it. All right, Jason, thanks very much for joining. I appreciate the tip. Thanks very much. Have a good evening. Yeah, I'm just looking at it. It's actually, I'm not going to be able to do this shape that I wanted because it was because the actual outside of the tenon is broader than that penciled in bit over there. So if I manage to get any kind of curve on it at all, it will be interesting. Well, seeing as the chat's a little bit quiet, perhaps I will start the job. I'm going to move you up to the lathe. All right. Well, I glued it. How long have we been talking? 3/4 of an hour. So it was glued before that. So it's had enough time to glue, I think. Actually, I will use that tip right away and put the live center in and see how we go. Hey Jordan, how you doing? So like I said, this is new on me, so I'm not making any promises. Refreshments brought in by the daughter. I'm just going to sharpen my blade a bit. Ah, it's broken off. I don't know why it's giving me a kickback. I don't know if olive wood is different. I'm not that used to using olive wood. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar. But if you can see that there, there's a little chunk which has come out of it. I'm going to have to, actually I might turn it first and then take it back. This is all new territory for me, so it may just go disastrously. We'll see. Is there something that I need to know about olive wood? Because it doesn't, look at it, it's all chipping away here. Am I going on the wrong grain here or something? Yeah, the life center is not the issue here. It's solid as a rock, that's not a problem. I can put the life center in, but that's not the issue. It's just olive wood, and I don't know if that's got any different way of being handled. I don't think that's going to make any difference. For some reason it's chipping. Too fast or too slow, Jordan? Well, I guess we just have to adapt. Make a slight change here. Yeah, I'll be doing that anyway, Josh. I've got a chunk out of that I need to just get past. I think I'll probably go with a finer paper. I'm not going to start on a really low grit here. Not terribly excited with this. Right, I don't go any thinner there. I can see glue already there. Got a bit of a flat spot there where the piece of wood wasn't wide enough, and if I go any thinner there, I'll lose the shape. I have to just decide whether I leave that or not. Hey Rick, how you doing? Alright, that actually looks a lot better. Okie dokie. So we can carry on sanding. Well, I made a mistake. That was the wrong thing. I should have used the Forstner bit. Silly boy. That's that. Well, I guess I'll just do a regular stem. What do I do? Well, I suppose I can put another bit of...
Mm-hmm.
That's how to do it badly. Very annoyed with myself. It's going to have to be a fairly straightforward stem because there's now not enough length there. Right, I'm going to move you guys back to the table. Thanks, Josh. Not sure I'd call it a good job, but it's something at least. Hi, Daniel. At the moment, I'm just attempting to make a stem, but so far I'm making a bit of a hash of it. But we shall see. We shall see. Good bad job, yeah. At the moment I'm smoking, no, the Erimore is an old tin which I use for my Dremel bits that I use fairly regularly. I'm alright, Paul, how are you doing? I haven't had a chance to look at your emails yet, but I will get back to you when I have. Gotta be honest, I'm not feeling confident with this stem. I must be honest with you and straight with you. I think it's ended up being too short, so it's going to be fiddly to sand and file and whatnot. So I've got to leave a bit. I've got to leave a bit there for the bit on the end, and so there's going to be barely enough room to sand or file. I'll have to probably do it by hand completely. So that's the beginnings of the slot. Question is how to start this. Whether to do it all by hand or try and do some of it on the belt sander. And to be honest, I think the belt sander is going to be no good. I don't know if you can see this, but basically I've marked it with pencil going across there and on that side there to get an idea of where I need to be going. So essentially I'm going to leave about 3 or 4 mil at the end to make the bit, and then the rest is going to be, well, we shall see. I know a lot of people use a vise for this part, but I could actually use a circular sanding wheel. Perhaps I'll do it with the Dremel. Let's see how we go. I'm working with a very, very small. It's not ideal, really not ideal. I should probably wasting my time, to be honest. I could be using my time a little bit more productively, but I don't like abandoning things in the middle. Hey, Andrew. Just going to put a mask on, there's a lot of dust flying around. Right, so that's what we've done so far. Still lots of filing to go, but that's where we're at the moment. Yeah, but I don't think I'll get as good a finish. I've got really very little experience with stem making, Andrew, and it started off pretty badly earlier this evening, and it took a little bit of willpower not to dump it, I must be honest. Well, this is an olive wood. Put it this way, the olive wood was double the length and I had to trim it all the way back. This is the bit that I find always difficult. This thing says 4.8 mil. The drill is 1.5 mil, so I should have loads of room, but somehow I always manage to hit the hole. That's a lack of experience. Thank you, Boris. Appreciate that. .3. What's the height generally of this area here? It's about 4 mil, isn't it? It should be something like that. I think the thickness is good. I'm happy with that. And I just need to finish shaping that. So we've got a fairly good shape there. I'm going to round that off. And I've just got to get that nice and smooth without going through it somehow. Making stems is such a huge world, and it's completely new for me. You know, as I said, I've done the odd few, but doing one as small as this, as well as I thought, you know, I would start doing more smaller ones, but in reality, really small ones are more of a challenge. Oh, well, still got a way to go on the button. I mean, the buttons I'm used to, because even on the pressed stems, I always adapted the buttons anyway. So the button hopefully will be alright. I just have to make sure getting this bit nice and smooth and not going through it to the drill. That's my worry, which I don't have a huge amount of experience on, but we're getting there. Hopefully I won't screw it up. So we're getting quite a smooth surface there. We're getting there. It's a little bit, just a touch too small, this. You know, I'd like to be able to get a bit of sandpaper across it. Well, I suppose I can trim a piece up, but in fact, to make sure I don't break the whole thing, because it's hollow in there, because it's 9mm. It's too risky. if this is narrow enough. It might do it. Yeah, the bite zone is perfect. It's really comfortable. It's just a matter of getting it right now in terms of smoothing it without going too far. I'm really not entirely sure where to go. What is this one? Let's start with 240. Guys, I'm not sure if you're going to just want to watch me sanding here, but you're welcome to. But I'm happy to leave it live. But this is actually working. We're getting somewhere. I say as long as I don't go through it. Getting there on one side so far. So I'm just going to shape the bit, and then I'm still going to have to sand the main thing to get it down to a shiny finish, but I'm just going to get some of that bit looking the right shape. Yeah, I am. You're right. So you got a nice rounded bite zone there, a bit, but I think it's a little bit too high. I think that needs to come down still. I think this also needs to come back a bit. I haven't made a pipe for it, WV. I have a shape in mind, but I really wanted to see how I got on with this stem. But I may well keep this one, being a bit of an experiment. We'll see, it depends how it comes out. If it comes out well enough that I'm happy to sell it, then fine. But we'll see. Alright, that's pretty bang on now in terms of comfort. Just needs finishing. That's really nice dimensions for that bit. I just need to polish this up really, get it as smooth as possible. This is a bit of olive wood, this, yeah. It should have been double the length, but I had a bit of an accident with it, so. Right, gentlemen, I think I'm going to call it a night here. It's 2:20 in the morning. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. been a bit of an education. Always is when you're making pipes, to be honest. Oh man. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks Boris, thanks Josh, thank you Andrew, thank you WV, Jeff, Piperick, Kev the Pipe, and everybody else is still on there. Thanks very much everybody. Mike Gamecock, thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and maybe I'll make a pipe to go with it. Cheers everybody, all the best.